Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're brand new. Welcome back if you're not. And welcome home if that works for you. Today we're going to do a reading about what you're being called to release. And what is the blessing attached to that releasing. And we're also going to draw some cards to find out what is the gift in that release and what might the warning be, right? So that's a pretty big one. So we're gonna shuffle and draw together. However, at this moment, you have these beautiful three shapes: a moon, a rainbow, and a star. If you are already drawn to one of these shapes, you can hit the timestamp below and go straight to your reading. If you like to sit through the shuffling process, you can absolutely do that. We're going to draw these piles together with the intention of finding the information, the insights, the awareness for your, oh, look, you got two, highest and best. When it comes to, oh, another two, what you're being called to release, what is the blessing, and what are the gifts and warnings inherent in that information. Here's what you need to know. These are general readings. They can't and won't apply to everyone. So please pick up what resonates for you and leave behind what does not. Every bit of information cannot possibly be for you. And so if you do not find a message here, that's okay. There are plenty of other pick a card readings on this channel. You can grab that. The other thing is you can listen to one, you can listen to two, or you can listen to this whole video looking for your messages. Absolutely. Again, just making sure that you're not trying to force it. You're not trying to shove anything into your own resonance. Because here's the most important factor. Your intuition is the key part of this process. Your intuition is joining in and creating the magic of this process. So just be aware that what is coming in for you is 100% coming in for you. And see, sometimes we get messages for everybody while we grab cards. So the cave, the sanctuary exists within. So here's the deal. Just as we were sitting here talking about how your intuition is the key piece of this reading, apparently everyone needed to hear that message as well. So again, your sanctuary exists within. There's nothing that you can find out in the world in general that you can't find within you. It's just about clearing your channel and creating space and the awareness and knowledge to recognize those messages, right? And so once you become in the way of hearing your own translations, that is the way that you gather that information in the best possible way. So just make sure that not just here in this forum, in this space of a YouTube pick a card reading, but in terms of your life and your awareness, that you are choosing to honor your intuition. It is 100% the very, very biggest gift that the universe has given you is your ability to witness what is present for you. And, you know, sometimes we have to devote a little bit of time and a little bit of study and a little bit of flex into how we witness those messages, how we interpret those messages, how we translate them and understand that they're for us. Once you do that, you're in the bonus round. Okay, here we get another general strength. So the strength card, again, is literally keeping within this theme. This is about intuition. This is about how you go in to your own sanctuary fearlessly and create what is required, right? This is really, the strength card is about how you have the strength to plumb your own depths, right? And witness your own process, witness your own work as stemming from your own shadows, and how you want to create peace and something holy from that, right? From that. And the only way that you can do it is to have the courage to explore your own cave. And the thing is, you know, caves are inherently dark. Caves are inherently inner spaces. And so if we can recognize that in our own inner space, we're always protected, we're always connected, and we already know what's there, then we get to fearlessly plumb that depth and create from it, not just... not just what might come, right? The healing that might come, but the healing that's already present, right? Everything is already there, and all you have to do is remember that it's already part of you, that primal, bestial kind of part that we identify as wild or scary or out of conscious control. Sometimes those things are scary. And so the bottom line is, how are you going to approach it? Well, the answer is knowing that it's for you, knowing that it's your safety, knowing that it's your security. And so the best and easiest way to do that is to simply approach it, right? Simply approach it as part of you, an innate and natural part of you that came in order so that you may witness, so that you may understand, so that you may translate the things that are present for you in terms of your healing. What are you going to release? What is the blessing, right? What are the gifts? What are the warnings? Well, we have to know, and we have to recognize all of it in order to express it all, right? You can't synthesize what you haven't recognized. You can't integrate what you haven't had the capacity to witness. So the best and brightest way, my friends, is simply to witness your own magic as your own magic and accept it as such, right? Those are your messages in the shuffles. Thank you. We appreciate those. And so now let's go ahead and check our piles. Okay, so you have 1 under this moon, 2 under this beautiful rainbowy shape, and 3 under this star. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time with those. Remember, let the pile choose you, right? Your intuition knows you're already present to the magic. 1, 2, 3. Just take your time, and I'll see you in your reading. Hey, pile 1. Those of you who chose this gorgeous moon, just gorgeous, right? All right, let's get in. What we're talking about is, what are you being called to release? What is the blessing there? What is the gift? What is a warning, right? Let's start. Oh, that's right. You got 2. You got 2 of these. Okay. So you have the North Node. Beautiful. And the 7th house. Okay. That's cool. So the North Node and the 7th house. Interesting. So the North Node and the 7th house, we're talking about, with the North Node, we're talking about life goals, right? Purpose, mission, what you're here to do, what you're here to learn. Specifically, like, what is your mission in this lifetime, right? What are your soul contracts pulling you toward? What did you set up for yourself? What's your agenda in this life, honestly? And then 7th house, love and partnership. This is how we relate to anything that is other, but also it is how we relate to ourselves, right? So the 7th house is ruled by Libra, and it is the pole of Aries Libra energy. So it is the I am and the we are. So how does the me fit into the we, and how does the we activate me? All of those things. So what is your destiny when it comes to learning about those? Okay, interesting. Interesting start. Ask with sincerity. Okay, so so interesting here. So one of the things that my clients often say is, I want to know what my life purpose is. And I quite often say, okay, what if you already know that and you just aren't open to that answer, right? So this implies that you must be open to the answer before you ask the question. And so if we're talking about what direction you're here to go in, right? Sometimes I've had the conversation so many times about, like, I can't believe I would have put this on my plate. It's so much all at once, etc., etc. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you accept the fact that you showed up with your mission already embedded in your being, then when you ask those questions, you can't reject it. You can't rebuke it. You can't even, honestly, I mean, you can't even really question it in good faith, keeping with what you believe, if that's what you believe. If you believe that it's all random and that you're just here to, you know, live your life and tromp around, I can't imagine you're listening to this if that's the case. So let's keep going. There's plenty. Okay. Judgment. The whole point is to be human. So I love this. So this is about really witnessing where you're projecting and where you're engaging in things that might not be yours to engage with, right? So the whole point is to be human, right? So we're here to witness other people's stuff and our own stuff and to come to a judgment on it, right? You can also say, use your discernment on it. My spin on the difference between judgment and discernment is that judgment is looking at something external to you and saying, that's wrong. And discernment is looking at something external to you and saying, oh, that's wrong for me, right? I don't wish that to be in my experience. I don't prefer to have that experience. I don't want to express in that way. So, okay, I see a theme. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, intuition. So, for you, intuition here is talking about literally your intuition, your third eye, the place that you draw your answers from yourself as that temporary expression of the divine in action, right? So it's about looking beyond the 3D, looking beyond what you can see and using your capacity to be divinely interpretive when it comes to what it is that you want to choose for your life, right? So let's keep going before we get to our any decisions or any definitive answers. I got a feeling we already know what we're talking about, but let's keep going. Okay, so what are you being called to release? You have the Two of Swords, Death, and the Four of Cups. Okay, we'll just do it that way. Nope, let's do it that way. Okay, okay. What? Here we go. Let's keep going. What is your gift? No, this is your warning. So sorry. Your warning is the Fool. All right, I like it. Interesting. Your gift is the Ten of Cups. Lovely, lovely. What's the blessing that comes with your releases? Oh, interesting. The Fool, the Seven of Swords, and the Lovers. Okay, well, those are fabulous in terms of... Okay, so what are you being called to release? So let's talk about the Two of Swords, Death, and the Four of Cups. So this is about disengagement, right? This is how you choose to lean away from your mission, from your purpose, from your gifts, from the way that you lean into your higher calling, right? This is literally just choosing to pivot away from your innate sense of magic, of how you are here to be that representation of the divine in action, right? This is how you're creating separation from yourself and your divine purpose, right? All the ways that you have possibly been having that conversation with the universe up until now are going to be shifting. What are you being called to release? The idea that you aren't enough. The idea that you need to question your intuitiveness. The idea that you can't possibly be engaged in your own life or transformation because who are you? Who are you to be engaged in that? Like how am I, how dare I show up as this brilliant piece of divinity, right? How dare I claim that? Well, how dare you not claim it? Pile number one. How dare you not? How dare you say, I don't have the right to? You're here as the right to, okay? Release. Blessings. The Fool. Seven of Swords. The Lovers. Okay, so usually that Seven of Swords carries a lot of gravity to it. Here we're going to witness it as strategy and the way that you utilize information in order to increase your self-awareness and your awareness in the world, right? You have the Fool here, which is about how we start out in full faith, right? In full faith, because guess what? We either have full faith or we have none. We either have full faith, guys, or we have none. I love that this is also your warning, because this completely says you don't even have a warning, right? Trust it. Trust this journey. You have to trust this journey because it is your mission. It's your purpose. It's the reason that you showed up here in this life, in this body, at this time. You are here to transform what has been. And here's a very important thing to note. If you've not been on board with your full capacities to walk in faith, the key is to forgive it and to let it go, to let that go, to shift your awareness, to ask with sincerity, to be on board with, oh, these are my answers. This is my certainty. This is my birthright, right? I'm here in order to do this. This is my whole lesson. And now I get to not only shift, but I get to put it into action. How brilliant is that, right? I recognize that all things are messages for me, and I get to also choose my perspective. Am I looking out there with a pointing finger and saying, oh, that's terrible, oh, that's terrible, oh, that's terrible? Or am I asking with sincerity, what does this mean to me, right? How can I apply this in my life? How can I put this into action for myself? How can I use this as a learning strategy in order to increase my capacity to be in divine relationship, not just with other people? And by the way, when we talk about divine capacity to be in relationships, we're not just talking about intimate relationships. We're talking about your relationship with your siblings, your parents, your coworkers, your friends, your children, your neighbors, your partners, your intimate partners, and yourself, right? You have to include all of those things, or you're not including any of them. Again, right? We're talking about the sum of all things here. And what is your gift? Holy catfish. Your gift is the 10 of Cups. So I do want to call, your awareness to the fact that you have love and partnership, you have the Lovers, and you have the 10 of Cups. All of these are asking you to release any notions that you can't be fully and wholly in a relationship that allows you to witness your totality, your brilliance, right? And I think sometimes we look away from those possibilities and we ignore them because maybe we're carrying trauma. Well, guess what? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I mean, that's a choice, right? That's a choice. That healing is a choice. That awareness is a choice. That depth is a choice. The openness, the vulnerability to witness your messages clearly is a choice. And if you haven't been making a choice that you're happy with, or you haven't been making a choice that creates that fullness for you, that allows you to be whole with yourself and with other people, you have the opportunity right now to release that. What are you being called to release? Any belief that disagrees with your complete and total divinity, right? You get to lose that sense right now. And so here's the deal. This is a timeless reading, but I am recording this the day before the full solar eclipse, Aries new moon, on the 8th of April, 2024. If you happen to be listening around this time, I think, this is a self-healing eclipse that offers you a complete and total pivot point to shift and change your prior awarenesses, your prior belief systems on a dime, right? You get to do that. You get to do it so totally that every part of your future journey is the embodiment of that choice, right? You do. And you get to also experience the gift of that awareness as living in your wholehearted truth, right? In all of your relationships, living in your purpose in all of your relationships, that wholehearted sense of naked heart living is your blessing here. Openness is your blessing, right? Welcoming your next part of the experience, showing up as, okay, this is great. I'm here for it, right? I'm here for it because everything got me here. I might as well say, heck yeah, right? If it's not a heck yeah, what is it? Oh. Right? So you're shifting that kind of wishy-washy, whatever's happening, awareness. You're really choosing to live on purpose. So what are you being called to release? Any idea that you are not the embodiment of the divine. What is your blessing? Your blessing is full-hearted living, right? Your gift is really being able to feel that. And your warning, you don't have one. You don't have one. You have an affirmation of just accepting the depth to which you're being invited, right? Doggone pile number one. That's beautiful. Do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, come back, let me know how this goes for you, because I really want to know. This is wonderful. I wish you nothing but the best here. I see that nothing but the best is coming for you. Just stay open to it, right? Keep affirming it and keep saying yes to what is present and what is on the way. You get to choose it. Anyway, take care. Big blessings. Thanks for listening. If this is where you leave, thanks for being here. And if not, I'll see you in the next reading. Hey, pile number two, those of you who chose this beautiful agate rainbow. I just love it. All right, let's get into your messages. What are you being called to release? What is the blessing? And what are your gifts? And what is a warning, right? So let's start. Okay. Square. So squares are challenges, disharmony. Squares are honestly, in the lexicon in which I teach astrological energy, squares are about balancing two parts of a pole. And once you balance it, you have access to both sides of the energy. Generally in a square, there is a required acceptance of destruction, right? Something has to give in order for you to witness both of these poles appropriately, in order for you to integrate them. The whole way a square happens, the whole way we get that challenge or disharmony is that there's a belief lodged in somewhere in the pole that doesn't allow the energy to flow properly. So generally what happens is there's some kind of provocation, some kind of conflict, and it allows you to see how you are expressing something that is a result of something in your belief system, right? So let's start there and keep going here. Make a plan. Okay, so this is about how we create our goals, how we choose what the next right thing is, right? The key here, again, is about honest self-exploration, right? It's about being willing to witness what is and what could be, and find where the discordancy is between them. Let's keep going. The skull. Okay, so love has already won. So here we're talking about the ego. We're talking, see, okay, so we're talking about the ego and what it is that that keeps us attached to the way things are, right? And so the call of this card is, how are you anchoring to something eternal, or are you anchoring to something in the present, right? Where is your ego winning? Where are the rules winning? Where is the structure winning, right? Because the created external structure doesn't always agree with our internal sense of yes or no. Okay, see, you're telling the story. Let's keep going. I like that one. Blessed day. So this is always about being here now, right? This is just an affirmation that today is the only day, right? You can make this plan, you can do this work, you can anchor to something outside of you. But if you're not showing up in the here and now, what are you actually doing, right? What are you actually doing? Let's pull this tarot and see what you got here. So we're talking about, what are you being called to release? The Queen of Pentacles. Ooh, the Ten of Wands. Always a beautiful card when it comes to what do we want to release. And the Hermit. Okay. Alrighty. What is your warning? The Three of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. Beautiful. What's your gift? The Moon. Okay, do you see our parallels here? We'll get there. And then what's the blessing, right, inherent in your release? So you have the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Okay, well, all right, so let's talk about this. So what are you being called to release? Right. So how are you allowing things external to you to create your sense of correctness, to write your story, to tell your narrative, right? How are you engaging in someone else's narrative? How are you giving consent to the structure of the outside world to run your internal world, right? So the ways that you, every time when you go to seek your own truth, what you find is this lexicon, this big dictionary full of other people's definitions, other people's structure, and you call that to yourself in terms of, this is what I have to do, this is my duty, this is my responsibility, this is my prescribed reaction here. If X happens, I do Y. If X happens, I do Y. If X happens, I do Y. Well, maybe Y doesn't actually feel good. Maybe every time X happens, you go, oh, now I have to do Y, right? And so that pulls you away from that trajectory of how are you showing up as your eternal self, right? Instead, you're choosing to show up as your limited small self. You're giving power to that story that's out there, to that dictionary that you've read your whole life and said, oh, this is what this means. This is what this means, right? So what are you being called to release? Any idea that anybody else gets to define for you what you're looking for in terms of your life, your structure, your experience, your sense of what to do, how to do it, why to do it, when to do it, where to do it, right? None of those things. If you're not making your own plan, somebody else has made it for you. And it might be creating a whole lot of challenge and disharmony for you. That's your square. So the challenge here is to witness those poles. What do I believe? And does it resonate with me? Well, maybe that's something that you're being asked to look at in a new and different way. Okay. What is your warning? Okay, so the Three of Cups is a card of shared celebration. In this instance, what this card is saying to you is be aware that sometimes we go along to get along, right? Sometimes we accept other people's definitions or their expectation of our reaction or our response so that we can maintain our status as part of this group, right? If my friends do something that's wrong and I know it's wrong, what does that mean for me, right? You know, the question is not necessarily, are they still my friends? But what am I doing as a result of this association? How am I allowing these people in my life? And does it feel good? I have a lot of clients who are like, you know, as I move along through my awakening process, I can't hang out with these people anymore. I still love them. What do I do? Well, you know what? I always say, the people you love are the people you love. The people you're supposed to walk with are the people you're supposed to walk with. Sometimes those match and sometimes they don't, right? So maybe the warning is check your circle, right? Keep your circle tight. It's a real thing. Make sure that the people in your life are supporting what is resonant for you. Now, here's the deal. Your gift is the moon, right? This is that deeply intuitive sense. It's also what you don't anticipate, what you don't see, right? So there might be things that come up that you haven't been expecting as you start offloading things, as you start saying, oh no, I can't, nope, that's not gonna, nope, I can't, that's not part of my plan, that's not part of my plan, that doesn't feel good to me. So what happens here is that we create new cycles, and in those new cycles, in the new tide of our self, let's say self-set pace, some people may start to wash away in those tides, and trusting the part of you that knows you're always going to be okay in terms of your shifting circle might be a surprise for you, but also it's a gift, because what happens when that tide goes out and takes the energies that aren't compatible, that aren't resonating anymore with the new who you are, that tide also comes back and brings with it new energies, new associations, new circumstances, new situations that are resonant, right? So you have to trust it. You have to trust that when you put something down, if you're offloading to create space, that space is going to be filled with something far more compatible, far more creating synthesis for you, right? Far more, I see you, you see me, right? So you have to trust that. You have to trust that. From the depths of your being, you have to trust that. Now, what's the blessing here? I love this right here. You have the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords for your blessings. So in this situation, this is about how you walk away from things that are not creating joy and happiness for you. moving toward structure, self-created structure that is outside of conflict, right? It doesn't matter what messaging you get from the outside when you're creating your own resonant structure. That big dictionary you've been reading from to understand your life. This is what I do now. This is what I do now. There is no expectation or engagement, let's put it that way. There's no engagement in the conflict. If a conflict should result from anyone who is external to you saying, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? All you concern yourself with is creating your structure, right? Creating your own idea of what is, of what feels right. This is my bubble, right? This is my aura. This is my energy. And what gets in here is the direct result of what that tide. I'm casting out anything that does not belong, and I'm pulling to me all the things that do. And this happens completely outside of your need for control, right? You don't even have to make a plan other than I am in allowance of this process. I am in acceptance of the divine plan for my life. I am in awareness that I call to me everything that belongs to me, right? And the more you do that, the easier it gets. The more you do that, the more practice you put here, the less you need to worry about the process. The process itself is the joy. And the lack of disagreement, the lack of discordancy, right? Swords are about ideas. And so the more you do this work, the less idea gets caught in that net as you pull it back and goes, oh, wait, I don't think I want to. The less of that you have as you trust the process more and accept the results more. The gift is that you don't have to. Once you start the process, you don't necessarily have to feel like you have to direct it. You just have to show up for your feeling. Does this feel right? Yes, no. Does this feel right? Yes, no. Does this feel right? Yes, no. And that will control everything here. So what are you being called to release? Any external sources of control or any agreements, energetic agreements specifically that you've made to be or act or think or move or do in certain ways that aren't resonant for you, that don't make you lean in and say, yeah, I'm showing up this way. Anything that is according to anyone else's plans, this is what you're releasing. Anything that's not in alignment with your heck yes. Anything that makes you feel like you're carrying stuff you don't want to carry. All of those things. The blessing is that the more you allow this, the more it preloads, the more it self-actuates, right? The more you fulfill your own desires, your own preferences, the easier it is to dedicate and devote yourself to creating it. If you love it, you're going to keep doing it. If you love it, you're going to have an easy time sustaining it. There will be no concern that something outside of you could come in and knock you off that course, right? Just make sure that you're in line with your plan, that you're in line with your resonance, and that big dictionary that you've been carrying around to check yourself. Oh, can I do this? Is this the right thing? All of those things go. They just vanish. That giant baggage that you've been carrying around like this big, heavy anchoring weight, it's no longer an anchor, right? If you're attached to the eternal, if you're attached to your own sense of sourcing, if you're attached to your own reasons to celebrate, right? If you're attached to your own rhythms of tide and your own plans, what happens is the tension in that square absolutely melts away, and you just get the flow between the points, right? So pile number 2. This is lovely. Yeah, so releasing your required Well, releasing your external sense of definition, releasing your external sense of how to, why to, when to, where to, all of those, right? Allowing you to become your own prescriber, allowing you to become the source of every decision. And the source of every decision is, do I love this? Yes or no? Do I love this? Yes or no? Do I love this? Yes or no? Knowing that no matter what happens, you always have the power to call it back every time. If you feel yourself creating a new pattern that's not in alignment, right? Because guess what? The unknown happens, right? Sometimes we create a thing and then we're like, whoa, hold on. I'm sensing a little bit of holdover here. Let me readjust, right? And understanding that even if that happens, even if you get a little influenced by something external to you, you can always come back to that sense of self. You can always come back to your choice point, to the place where you witness it all as flow, and allow it to go out on that next tide, and then allow what you need to come back to you. How beautiful is that, pile number 2? Holy cow. I think that's good. I think that's complete. If you guys have questions, throw them in the comments. Other than that, I think this is beautiful. I think that you are at a pivot point. And again, I am recording this right before the full moon, or the full solar eclipse, new moon, on the 8th of April, 2024. So if you're watching this as you're making your intention, include these awarenesses, right? And if you're watching this as a timeless reading, you know what? Every choice point is a pivot point. You always have that power. It's just like, you know, you can always go stand outside and hope to get wet. It's just a little bit easier if it's raining. So, you know, you always get to make the choice. Sometimes there's more cosmic support for your decisions. Now is a beautiful time, whenever that may be, right? So, yeah, stand in your power and witness your pivot, because boy, oh boy, it is beautiful. Pile number 2, thanks for being here. Do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, and come back and let me know how this goes for you, or let me know how this lands. How does it resonate? I would love to know. Thanks for being here. If this is where we part ways, I appreciate you. And if you're going to listen to pile number 3, I'll see you there in just a minute. Take care. Hey, pile number 3. Those of you who chose this beautiful star. I do love that star. It's so pretty. Okay, so we're talking about what are you being called to release? What are your blessings? What is the gift being offered to you? And what might be a warning? What might you need to be aware of at this time? Oh yeah, I forgot you got 2 of these as well. Okay. Oh, look at that. Mars and Venus, right? Beautiful. So this is a beautiful divine pair here for you. What are you being called to release? And we're showing Mars and Venus, right? So this immediately talks about a polarity. This immediately talks about the way that we choose to be in balance, choose to be in harmony, right? Mars is the energy of your will, your vitality, your identity, your power, your force, your sexuality, your dynamic energy, right? How you take initiative, how you move. Venus is that polar opposite. This is about beauty and appreciation, love, romance, home, seduction, devotion, attraction, right? What feels great, right? How we settle into a thing. I love that as talking about what are you releasing in terms of polarity, right? Let's grab more and see what we get here. Okay, build on solid ground. So this talks about your foundations, right? This talks about how the things that most often crumble in our lives are the things that we didn't attend to, right? So if you have a health crisis, it's most likely because you weren't maintaining your health. If you have a financial crisis, it's mostly because you were ignoring your finances. If you have, let's say, like a commitment crisis, like if all of a sudden you have struggles in a relationship, it's mostly because you weren't paying attention to the unification of that, right? So the thing is, things that are built on a solid ground don't crumble. So the places where you experience that crumbling, that seismic splintering, right, are generally places where you get to witness, oh, I see, I didn't have that entire ground leveled. I didn't have that foundation poured solidly. I wasn't taking into consideration all the factors, etc., right? So when we're talking about building on solid ground, what happens is that you get the opportunity to create something fully foundationed, right? With a strong, firm foundation. So, you know, as we witness these extremes that are Mars energy, right, and Venus energy, how are you witnessing, right, these polar halves of your person, of your personality, of your consciousness, of your experience? Where are the places that you're experiencing a little bit of tectonic shift? Let's pay attention. So you also have, how beautiful to have here. So silence, I speak from my heart, right? And the card says love has already won, right? I love this deck so much. So this card is talking about the true translation of things. Not the story that you tell about them, right? Not the way that you craft a fantasy or a fiction around it, right? Like, oh, it's okay if I eat pie every day. Oh, it's okay if I don't pay my bills. Oh, it's okay if I don't check in with my partner. These things create lack of solid ground. These things pull you off to a pole of perhaps not the fullest expression, not the highest translation, right? The key here is that love as silence reaches through any of that static, any of the lack of authenticity in the building, in the information, in the message. And the fact is that love reaches through because love is an energy, right? It is not, it's not a jumble of rationalizations, right? It's just that pure energy. It's not the this half or that half. It's not the separation. It's not the, oh, that's not my problem today. Oh, I don't want to deal with that today. Oh, I just really want some pie, right? It's none of those things. Love is the expression of the highest. So let's keep going. Oh, nice. Okay, safe travel. So this is an absolute beautiful card. This is a blessing in and of itself. This is a card of protection. So this is talking about new or expanded awarenesses, new or expanded understandings, right? This is that pilgrimage, whether that pilgrimage is in the real world or into your heart and soul, right? This is, the key here is to really know what it is you're doing, to be aware of the process, to be present in the translating, in the creating, and then letting the polarity take care of itself, because you know that you're always protected, right? Let's grab these tarot cards and see what our bigger picture is. So we're talking about your blessing here. So, oh no, I'm sorry, this is what we're being called to release. So this is the Two of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. Okay, Two of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, King of Wands. What you're being called to release. All right. Your warning is the Queen of Pentacles. Your gift is the Page of Pentacles. and what your blessing is here. Is the Tower? You bet it is. The Wheel of Fortune. Lovely. And the Six of Wands. Okay. 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 I love this. So over here we're talking about how we witness what it is that needs to be released, literally. Like, we're talking about the process of releasing and why. Why do things show up that have to be released? So what are you being called to release? You have Two of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, King of Wands. So the Two of Wands is how you witness your highest and best, how you make a choice based on what is being shown to you. What are you calling into you? What are you doing in order to assure that you're conjuring from your highest and most connected? Seven of Pentacles gives you the patience to witness that process, and the King of Wands directs you to what are you creating, right? That King of Wands energy is, where's your passion, right? Where is your bigness? Where is your fullest expression and the best and juiciest use of your creative energies, right? What are you being called to release here? The hold back, right? The it's okay. The well, I can see both of those things, right? I can see choice A and choice B. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Right? That King of Wands energy can feel big, and so sometimes we scale back from it because we don't translate it appropriately. We feel like, oh shoot, if I do this thing, what if it's wrong? What if it's wrong? What if it's wrong? Let me just wait. Let me pull my foot off the gas so that I can coast, even though I have all of this urge forward. I have this beautiful push of energy. What if it's wrong? What if it's wrong? What if bad things happen? Right? What if, like, oh, this fantasy idea is what I really want. What if it doesn't feel like that? Right? What if it doesn't feel like that? That concept of hesitation is what you're being called to release here. Your warning, Queen of Pentacles. The warning of the Queen of Pentacles is not trusting your resources fully. Right? It's not creating your foundations in authenticity. It's pulling to a pole as opposed to creating from the whole, right? The key here is, if you're going to tell the story, it might be a beautiful story, but if you're not in alignment with the fact that you already have the resources, you already have the blessings, you already have the foundations, right? What happens for me happens for me. End of story. So that Queen of Pentacles says, be sure you understand that you are fully resourced. Be sure that you understand that you have already integrated all of this energy. All you have to do is tap it and put it into action. You already understand what it feels like to translate appropriately and use that translation energy for your creation. Your gift, the Page of Pentacles, all the places that you need something, it's already provided. It's already provided, right? The page energy is things showing up in your field, resources, abundant, infinite, limitless resource. You don't have to sit there and wonder, let me just sit here while I watch all these things pass me by, right? No. You don't have to withdraw from your power. You don't have to withdraw from your potential. You don't have to withdraw from what you know is already your, let's call it, expanded sense of consciousness. You have the power to step in. You have the power to step in. You're being invited at this point in time to release anything that says, maybe not. I'm afraid. I don't think I have. I don't think I can. I don't think I have enough to do that. No, actually, you do. You do. Don't doubt yourself. Accept it, right? What are the blessings that come with this release? You have the Tower, the Wheel, and the Six of Wands. So first of all, whatever you have to give up, you got to give up. Whatever you get to integrate, you get to integrate, right? The Tower is pivot point, cataclysmic destruction. As I have said in the first two readings as well, I am doing this the day before the full solar eclipse, new moon in Aries on the 8th of April 2024. If you're listening at that time, incorporate this into your intentions for this new moon. If you're listening to it at a different time, because this is a timeless reading, now is the perfect time, right? This is your pivot point. You're being invited. You are being called to release any of this, right? Any of this sense of, you know, none of it gets to come with you. I'm not sure I can. I'm not positive that X, Y, or Z. Nope. We get to pivot point. We get to say, oh yeah, I have it. I know how to use it. And I know it's been here all along. I'm not getting hung up on that, but I know I'm fully protected, right? I have everything I need, which is simply my faith in my resourcing. The Wheel allows you to witness the cycle completion, right? That Tower, even if it blows your mind, even if it shakes things out in a way that might be exciting for you, and you know, sometimes it is, right? Sometimes these releases are uncomfortable. Sometimes they are a little bit stressful. The key here is we're not looking at it like punishment, right? We're looking at it as an awareness, a shining of a light, an invitation to look more deeply. Why did this happen? Oh, why did this happen? Oh, why did this happen? Oh, this card is exactly the same. Why did this happen? Oh, what is shaking up in my life that is an expression of my own inner state? Well, guess what? Everything that shakes up in your life is an expression of your own inner state, right? Believing that it's not is part of this release. So the way that we witness this as coming back around full circle, as being an ending of this idea that I don't have enough, that there's any kind of scarcity, that there's any kind of need for me to ignore or look away from a thing, that I have to concoct a story around my truth in order for it to be something more palatable, instead of just witnessing the haves as, oh, I understand this part and I get to claim them both, right? And it's okay. It's okay, right? I get to go wherever I want as I release this need to disengage, to choose anything but my highest. The Wheel offers you the blessing, right? The blessing of moving forward and leaving whatever it was that created the justification, the mistranslation, the destruction, the seismic undercurrents, the disengagement, the feeling like you have to wait, that you don't have enough. You get to leave it in the past. You get to leave it in the past. And what you get to move forward with is that lesson. You get to fold it up and put it in your pocket and move forward with it as light as a feather. No baggage, no anchoring, no feeling overwhelmed or like you're carrying things with you. That Six of Wands, that victory card, allows you to pull this energy, this juicy, life-affirming, heck yeah energy into your present, into your now, into your experience at this point in time. Letting all of the other stuff go as an expression, and really just locking in on the fact that you're moving, and you're moving in such a beautifully resourced way that you don't have to think twice about it, right? That's beautiful. Shifting yourself into this brand new, full, firm foundation, right? Blessed, free to enjoy all of the divine story that is the whole, the totality of you outside of an expectation of polarity. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. That feels like a complete message to me, pile number 3. Wow, I absolutely wish you nothing but the best. I feel like I don't even have to wish you the best because I feel like you're already doing it for yourself. However, I will say this. Hit like, hit subscribe, come back, let me know how it's going for you. Because I want to know. I want to know how this resonates. I want to know how it's manifesting in your life. Yeah, I want to know. Anyway, be blessed. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And yeah, take care. Take care.